Hello, I'm Crystal.
I'm Kristen.
And this is Damsels After Dark, a show where we, your favorite damsels, deep dive into a book each week from cover to cover.
Every episode, we will conduct a full walkthrough while we rant, obsess, analyze all of it.
This week, we are still continuing through our favorite fanfiction, Manacled, written by Sen-Lin Yu, and this week we're covering chapters 20 to 25. The book is free to download, and the link will be in the description below.
As always, this episode will contain spoilers, so if you don't want this book's secrets revealed to you, please come back and join us when you're ready.
Without further ado, let's get into it.
So, these past few weeks, I've been, or actually not weeks, it's been what? It feels like weeks, but days? Has it been a week? I don't even know how long.
Didn't it? When it came out on the 8th?
I don't remember. I just know it feels like I've been playing it nonstop for eternity. But yeah, I've been playing Fae Farm, which you've been playing with me.
Yeah,
and it's pretty cute. It's pretty fun. I love it. It's a mix of like what Stardew Valley and Harvest Moon, I think.
Yeah,
I would say.
I would even say just like a sprinkle of Animal Farm, because like the way it looks is very Animal Farm to me.
Animal Crossing?
Or Animal Crossing, yeah. Animal Farm? I don't know where I got that from. Yeah, it feels a little bit like Animal Crossing, but much better. It's everything I wanted Stardew Valley to be.
Yeah. It's cute because like you get to go into the Fae realm, and with us, with our fantasy, expertise here, you get to marry like little Fae or humans, and we picked the same guy, and he is so toxic.
He is the enemy to lover situation going on.
Yeah, totally enemies to lovers. Calls you dirty until I can't figure out why you're going around doing the things you do, and then like next thing you know, he's just like writing you poetry.
Yeah, like he can't stop thinking about you. It was funny because I was literally farming, like I was pulling weeds and shit up, and he came onto my farm, and he's like, "You smell of dirt. Do you walk around like that all the time?" And I was like, "Who the fuck is this dude? I'm literally farming, guy. Like, you're on my farm."
I know. It's like, what are you doing coming and telling me that I'm disgusting and dirty while I'm working hard? And then when you, like, I ended up marrying him, of course, and he doesn't do anything but like walk around and he fries food in the garden.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
I'm like, why are you frying food in the garden, dude? Like,
yeah, that's weird. Do you have I assume you have a stove somewhere
I do
inside.
have a stove in the house, like a little fireplace thingy, but like he's literally in the garden where my crops are growing, and he's flipping a frying pan. I'm like,
that's amazing. I think I sent a picture of it to you of him. He was gardening in my garden. I was like, wow, we've come full circle. First he was making fun of me, and now he's in there. I'm like, why is this so romantic? He was like being an asshole the whole time. But it was fun. It was funny though, because I was flirting with one of the humans for a while, and then out of nowhere you were talking about being with one of the Fae guys, and I was like, hold up. I didn't even, because I hadn't even met any of the Fae yet. I hadn't completed the first cave, so I didn't know. But I was like, wait, hold on, fuck you, dude.
You mean to tell me you can marry Fae guys?
Like, sign me up. I'm not even. I feel bad for him because he's like walking around with a little heart over his head, and I'm like, no, don't even talk to me.
We're done.
I need this asshole Fae over here.
Yeah, totally pick the douchebag of a Fae dude.
Though he kind of gives a little bit of Draco vibes because he's got like the super blonde. I mean, it's gray. It's like white hair, but he has like...
He does.
The thing though too is his eyes are colored the exact same as mine. One is pale blue and one is green. That's how I did mine. I was like...
That's actually really cute. I think one is a white and one is pink or something, like purple or something.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah. I almost did purple, but I didn't want it to match the outfit that I was wearing, which was purple at the time. So, but it was a lot of fun. I was playing hardcore for a long time, but then I started reading Secrets and Masks. Yeah. And I can't obsess over two things at the same time. So I've been now stuck in the book.
Tell me about it. Right now I've been playing the game, but I'm going to stop because I want to read. There's 2 books that I've been seeing all over TikTok and Instagram. Oh. One is called Unhinged, where she like gets into it with a door. And then there's another one called Stuffed, and it's about a pillow.
Not stuffed.
Oh my god, it's hilarious. All I can think about is like at some point they're gonna hit on every piece of furniture in the house.
Those poor lonely stay-at-home moms. They got nothing else to do but just stare at their doors and their pillows.
Oh my god, I want to read them so bad, but I feel like that's gonna be my next step. I'm reading something else right now, but I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break this weekend and read those two because I hear they're very short.
Yes, I think Unhinged is like 72 pages long.
Yeah, and stuff I think is pretty short too. So
This is tough.
I can't. I want to read it so bad. So I mean, I guess prepare for a next episode where I might talk a little bit about the beginning of our.
I want to hear it. I really want to read Unhinged just because it sounds outrageous. Like I just want to know. I just have to read it at this point. But
The comments.
On Goodreads were hilarious. Oh my God. Like the people who hated it and loved it. It was just, I loved reading both of those reviews. People were like, no, she really is like fucking a door.
Yeah.
Like, she's
like,
screwing the door.
Yeah. They said it in like the spoilers graphic warning things. It's like, oh my God.
Now I have
crazy.
to know.
Yeah.
Now I have to know. I can't.
I think one of the comments I read, I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was, but they said something along the lines of, it's bad, but it's good.
That's so funny. Yeah, I saw one that said something like, if you see me put this on my Goodreads shelves, no, you didn't. Like, no. I feel like that's going to be me.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited to read those and report back.
Yes, we need all the details. I don't know that the pillow one's on my list, but I just want to read that door one.
Oh,
Watch us fall down this rabbit hole of these these types of books. It starts with Hermione and Draco fan fiction, and it ends with screwing doors and pillows. I don't know.
Oh well, it is what it is.
Yeah. Jesus.
But yeah, I mean, that's a good segue into our next 5 chapters of Manacled. So
yeah, we had some really good scenes last book, so I'm ready. I'm like ready. It's like I think those are the two that really like hook you in, and then it's just nothing but turbulence and
it goes crazy.
Greatness and also horrible.
Yeah, I think these next 5 chapters kind of just it slows down a little bit from the last. I mean, how can you get any crazier? But you can, but it slows down these next 5 chapters. It kind of just starts to dive into the connection between Hermione and Draco. And I think during this time too, it's kind of just her staying back in the manor, not really much doing anything, but
well, she had some trauma.
Understandably so. She's not gonna. I wouldn't want to do anything after that either.
Hell no.
But yeah,
and you're not safe anywhere now. Now you're not safe outside. You're not safe in your room.
I mean, oh my God, this poor girl. But yeah,
what I want to know though is how come, like, Montague was able to break through the wards in the first place is kind of blowing my mind. The first time he entered her room, and then Astoria. I understand she's the lady of the manor, but also like. I don't know. Those words aren't as powerful as they should be, Draco.
No, I'm thinking that he probably didn't think he needed to. I don't think he felt like somebody was going to barge in like that. Maybe and then I think what's happening is every time something crazy happens, he makes these words stronger and stronger as time goes on. Because the first time someone barged in his room, it was Graham. So like, I don't think he anticipated him doing that.
Yeah, I mean, he's lucky that nothing has happened each of those times. I mean, nothing deadly has happened.
But he can read her mind too, so he kind of already. I think that is a ward in itself where he can.
That's true.
Anticipate something happening. Before
but then her eyes out by the time you're fucking there.
Yeah,
like, or she's half essayed by the time you're there.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't really a fault of his wards though, because she did not listen.
She left the ward after he told her.
Do not go outside. But we like a girl that doesn't listen.
We don't listen.
It's fine.
We don't listen ourselves.
And so we left off last episode. She was being examined by Stroud. And Stroud gave her the wonderful news that, well, if Draco can't perform for whatever reason, not perform, but get her pregnant for whatever reason, then Lucius will be his replacement potentially. And also, we did learn that Stroud is very suspicious that Draco is purposely not getting her pregnant, because I think it's been like 6 months now.
Yeah, and she thinks that because with magical pregnancies, you could easily kind of disassociate yourself to where it won't. Because magical pregnancies apparently have to have a connection. And if he's disassociating himself, he's not connecting with her. Therefore, he's trying his hardest to not get her pregnant. Yeah. Oops. And I think Hermione even tries to ponder why he would do that. I don't know if it's right now, but it's somewhere in the next few chapters. But yeah, so they're still doing their checkup right now. Draco's gone, and Shroud is pretty much with her, continuously doing her, I think, the mind checks or whatever. And Hermione is like freaking out, and I think Shroud asks her what's wrong, and she says, you threatened me to go, you threatened that I would go to Lucius. And she goes, I hope it won't come to that. And I think she says something along the lines of, I don't remember what she says after this. I don't think she says much of anything. I just hope it doesn't come to that. And it kind of leaves, I think. So
I think the checkup's over.
Yeah, and then she just ponders Lucius's history after that. Like, how crazy he is, what he did, and how he cursed the Arthur Weasley to pretty much be childlike, left the family to take care of him in that state. And then, of course, he was tortured as a helpless child.
Yes.
And then he cursed George with a necrosis curse that forced Hermione to have to cut off his leg
while he was awake.
Yeah.
To save him.
So this was like partly during the war. This isn't during the battle, the last battle. This is like throughout the time. And then I'm guessing when he killed Ron, that was at the battle, because she doesn't specify here. We know. Yeah. But she doesn't specify at this point when Ron was killed.
She just notes that he killed Ron, and it was in front of her. And it was like, not torturous, because he didn't really like torture. She didn't specify that he tortured, but it was not. It was like, what did she hit him? He hit him with?
I don't remember.
Maybe she doesn't know. She just notes that he killed Ron.
Yeah, and did it in front of her, and he was laughing the whole time maniacally. And
again, it's because he blames the Weasleys for Narcissa's death. And so he has a specific hatred towards them, like going to get them back.
Because that was the time when they were rescued. Ron and Harry were rescued from the Bellatrix and all of them. And that's when they died. So yeah, he has this vendetta. Also, Stroud does say one thing to her. She says, if it does come to that and Lucius is your new supposed rapist, she just tries to say something else, but it's like, come on, just say what it is. She says that he could be supervised. It's like, how are you going to supervise that dude? You can barely supervise him now.
Or any of the others that are...
Yeah, look at what they're doing.
He's going to be just as bad, if not worse. So, you're going to supervise him? You're going to stay here and watch every time? That's almost worse.
Yeah, no, they're... Whatever. So after that, Stroud's checkup is done, and I think Draco does go to see Hermione after. I don't. Yeah,
she notes that he arrived later in the day, and then he comes in and he asks her. He casts a diagnostics on her eye, and he asks her how she's feeling, and then she has this just crazed hysterical moment where she starts laughing. She starts laughing, and then it morphs into crying, and then she's sort of like shaking back and forth like a crazy person at the end of the bed, and he sort of asks her like, why, or what's wrong? And she's just like, out of everything that's going on, you're worried about my eye. Like, here she has this news, she might possibly be traded to Lucius, and Draco's just concerned about her vision.
It's kind of funny if you think about it. It's like, that's what you're concerned about? Shroud just said that I'm going to go to your dad.
If you don't get me pregnant.
Yeah, I've been sexually assaulted by your fucking wife's lover and your wife. Like, but
is my eye okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine, Draco. Yeah. Thank you.
And then, like, right after that, I think she notices that his hand is like twitching and stuff, and she asks him if he's being tortured, and he says, clearly you haven't been reading or keeping up with the news. And I guess that's the whole, like, public and everybody in the newspaper, they found out that he's the High Reeve.
Yeah, they sort of put the death of Montague, which was obviously, we saw that in the paper, and the fact that he was at Romania, like all of that, people sort of collectively put together that he was the High Reeve.
Yeah, because he was, Draco was there as well as the High Reeve, and it's like, that would have been weird for Draco to be there. So why would Draco need to be there? Obviously, if the High Reeve is there, and his identity is secret, it put two and two together. It's most likely Draco.
I'm sure there were whispers a while that have been around for a while, sort of deciding who it was, and then this was sort of like,
of course,
confirmation.
Yeah, he pulls the intestines out of Montague, and then here we are. Now he's like in Romania, so it's like, oh, okay, those are so close together, and I was like, oh, of course they're going to deduce that he's the High Reeve.
Yeah. And I think he even says to like, he explains how the situation happened, that he really wasn't trying to kill him in the waiting room, but he wanted to do it in his room, but then Montague ran, and so he's like, I improvised.
Yeah. That was so funny. It's like, if you think about it, the minute he probably saw Draco, he's probably like, oh shit. And he just probably fled.
Which is so funny because, I mean, Draco essentially was like, if you do it again, I'll kill you.
But he didn't do it, yeah.
He's like, no. You know what? I'm going to make a special stop for this guy.
And he said he wasn't even going to do it there, but he was short on time, so he had to do it. Like, there was no option. He was just like, I'm just going to fucking do it.
It was on the way. He was like, I just do it now. Bounce to Romania, do some other killings. We're good to go. He's so ruthless.
Like a man with a plan.
Yeah. Like a man with a plan. He stuck to it too. He got it all done. He did all of his
errands.
He did. Like, Montague.
Check.
Make my appearance in Romania. Check. Come home. See Hermione. Check.
Make sure her eye is okay.
Make sure her eye is okay. I wonder if he has an itinerary. Do you think he just keeps it in his mind, or do you think he writes down like a
I think he
planner?
has a magic planner. So I think he just like and it's like tells him what he did
on his to-do list today. That's so funny. But so yeah, everybody essentially knows that he is everybody knows he is the High Reeve, and he makes a side joke too that sort of says like, oh, it was the Master wasn't happy about it because it was for my protection, of course, that I stay secret. But like, obviously there's the idea that if Draco amasses a following behind him, that he has so much power and the potential to move that power away from Voldemort, especially since Voldemort is getting weaker and it's becoming a little bit more obvious that he's dying as they get closer to killing all the Horcruxes from him.
Yeah, because people are already saying that he's a protege, but that's not what Voldemort intends for Draco. He's not his protege. He's just somebody who's like a commander. He's not a protege, but everybody's saying, oh yeah, he's his protege. He's pretty much next in line for a rule. And it's like, no, now that's why Voldemort's getting pissed off about that. He doesn't want no one to follow anybody but him. Yeah.
And it makes sense because he doesn't think he's going to die. Like Voldemort, why would he spend time training a prodigy? He's not going to die. He's going to live forever. I mean, hence the Horcruxes. So then he just does a quick mind reading session. There's no new memories that have been unlocked. And then he just leaves. And then she sits there the next day. Now, she hasn't left the room since the equinox.
No.
Obviously. And so now she's, I think, getting a little bit of the courage to get up and start walking around the manor. And she's thinking about having a kid and kind of like what that would mean. That it would be trained to be a killer like Draco. It would obviously be snatched from her. She's not going to be able to raise it. Who knows what Astoria is going to do with it. So she's having a lot of these panicky thoughts throughout the day, but she's sort of walking around the manor just to sort of calm her nerves. Yeah. And then today's the day. She's fertile.
Oh, yeah.
After the conversation of now they have to be more intimate about it.
Yeah. And I think she sees that is this the one where she sees that there's potions and she doesn't take them? She just throws them in a cabinet?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. And so she just like, whatever, I don't want these. I'm going to throw them in the cabinet. And then I don't know if the portrait's like watching her at this time.
Yo, the portrait is always
that portrait
there
is like really, really like watching up on her.
So he comes in and he didn't send word. So he just appears and he says to her, like, I thought letting you know might make it a little bit worse. And she says, I didn't prepare.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we made the joke, like, I would never. But he even says, like, you shower every morning. I don't need you, like, excessively clean. Let's just, like, go and get this over with.
And that's how she knows that the portrait was watching, because it's like, how would Draco know? She showers. It's the portrait.
That bitch be following her to the bathroom. She can't take a shit without that witch there watching her.
I would be like, well, good, because then maybe he won't have to go in my mind every time to find out what's going on. He'd report to the fucking little portrait.
Mm-hmm. Oh, drive me crazy. Not an ounce of peace. Not a moment of silence to herself alone.
I'm telling you, if you drove her crazy, she probably won't watch. I'd probably be in there like, hey, how's it going? Blah, 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 blah. She's like, this bitch, I'm leaving.
Yeah. And I think he gives her a potion, which is a calming drought. I want to say drought. I don't know. I do. Drought. I don't know what it's called. Drought. I'm saying it.
Or
potion.
Vial. Yeah, potion, vial.
He gives her a calming potion. He also takes a calming potion. And does he take another potion that she doesn't recognize now, or does she recognize it the second time?
She doesn't know what it is, but she believes it's a libido potion.
Okay. So she does.
Yeah.
Which, interesting, because clearly essaying is not his thing. No. He needs a potion for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get on the bed and she's laying there, and I don't know why this scene is slightly funny to me.
It is really funny, but mind you, there's no more table because the straw says no more table, so they have to have like a connection.
And they're doing it on the bed.
Yeah,
on her bed, which again, like
she's upset about.
Come on,
yeah, which I would be fucking upset.
I would be upset about this too.
Like, can we do it on the floor at least?
And you have a manor filled with rooms. Can we not just meet in a room? And do it there.
Any room. Like, why do we have to do it in my room on my bed? Can we do it somewhere else?
Yeah. I don't know why he chose her room, but it's funny to me because so she gets on the bed, she's laying on her back, and he's like crawling over her, and he's trying to get like into position to start doing it, and she is staring wide-eyed like, up at him, like, and he's got to be right here, and he's just like, can you close your eyes? Like, you're looking at me.
I think she does. I think at one point when he starts like to touch her, she starts to think of Graham anyways.
Yeah, so she does. Once he asks her, she closes her eyes. But I just have this vision of her just like staring deadpan into his face. And he's just like, can you?
I'm so uncomfortable for everybody involved.
Can you stop staring at me, Hermione? And then she does have the moment of like, closing her eyes and then thinking of Graham.
Yeah, and then he tells her, like, don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to hurt you. You know, calm down, I'm not going to hurt you.
And she starts crying, too. It's a horrible experience, all of this, all around. Yeah. It's awkward for everybody. And so he performs, and of course she was crying. She was thinking about, she could feel the gravel. She was having PTSD from, obviously, her situation with Graham. But Draco performs and he finishes, and he just like tears off of her and goes into the bathroom, and she can hear him throwing up.
Yeah. And all she kept saying was, like, in her mind while he was doing what he was doing, she kept saying, this is better than Lucius. This is better than Lucius.
Yeah.
This is better than Lucius. Because, like, at this point, if she doesn't get pregnant, she's going to have to get pregnant by somebody. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, her best option, as sad as it's to say, is Draco, because he's not... Obviously, he, like you said, he just ran to the bathroom to throw up. He doesn't want to do this just as much as she doesn't want to have to be here. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I mean, if any case scenario, if you're going to have to get raped by somebody, at least it's not the maniacal fucking crazy lunatic.
Yeah. At least it's the one that's like throwing up after it.
Because he doesn't want to do it.
He can't handle taking, and has to take a libido potion. Like, and no realm is this something that he wants to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess this is the best, especially after we've already heard stories that are happening to the other girls too. So
yeah. And she was saying though that even though this is still better than if it were Lucius, the fact that this time was different because there was no table and it felt less of a disconnect. Like she had, like you said, she was like staring wide eyed. So there was more of a, so to speak, connection than there would have been with just like not looking. She tried to look at the clock. She tried to still dissociate herself, but she couldn't. Yeah. With the PTSD from Graham and then just the idea that it was different this time. She had no choice but to realize what was going on. Sad.
And then Draco comes out of the bathroom and Hermione notes that he looks pale and traumatized. And she then apologizes to him. And I think they both sort of stare at each other for a second. And she's thinking to herself, like, why did she just apologize to him? But she goes on to say that she's apologizing for crying. She said it all just reminded me of Montague. And then he just responded, maybe, hopefully it'll be better tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then he left.
Can you imagine?
Tomorrow. I have it tomorrow. You know, the first one's always going to be the worst, though.
Yeah. And he doesn't want to do it either. So he's probably thinking the same thing. Hopefully we could just get through this better tomorrow. Like, can you imagine? It's like a work day. Hopefully tomorrow's not so bad.
Maybe this won't be so bad next time. Maybe I won't vomit next time.
And it's 5 days. So it's like, he's probably like, happy Friday.
Friday.
We get time off from each other. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Work your 5 days. I'll see you next month.
Yeah. Well, at least there's only 5 fucking days.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's got to be hard to have gone through your, like, she was already panicking when the table didn't arrive earlier on, like, because she was used to the routine of when it was coming. So now to have this complete other experience that rips you out of what you were already accustomed to, what you already like trained for.
At least he was considerate enough to know that it didn't get close because he came earlier and he went there earlier and didn't give her the warning of the table. So it's almost like he gave her the consideration of having not to wait for the table this time.
Yes.
So like, I mean, I guess that's thoughtful. Like, like I don't know what to feel about this shit sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, when you're reading it for the first time, like we read it a million times. So it's like, but like reading it for the first time, you kind of have that anxiety of just like, what do I feel in this circumstance? Because you know he doesn't like it, but he's also considering her thoughts. But at the same time, he's an asshole. So it's like, oh, what is going on?
So many mixed emotions.
Yeah.
Which is very, I like it a lot because it's exactly how Hermione's feeling. So it's like we're experiencing these same emotions, just like we were with her anxiety and her sadness, which is just a credit to Senlin Yu because you got it. You did it. Like I'm experiencing everything the same.
Yeah.
Why do I like him? Why do I not like him? Why is he an asshole?
Yeah, and she goes through it too.
Yeah.
Like we were going through whatever Hermione's going through. So yeah, that's the that's the last part of chapter 21. And then chapter 22 goes right into the next day. So
yes, and she just like wakes up, showers. And again, she's going to that other room to shower too.
Would you say she has pep in her step?
She's about to have some pep in her step.
Oh yeah,
shit's coming.
This is that time. Yep.
This is one of those scenes that's like, I like this because it's funny and it shouldn't be funny, but it is the comic relief that you need in this sort of situation.
It does step it up. It does step up their connection. So these chapters are all about like we said before, the connection between Draco and Hermione, and it really does step it up that notch. And at this point, she was saying she couldn't find her motivation. She was trying to get it together and try to figure it out. So that leads to her to deciding that, I'm going to take a walk outside. But I don't think she does go take a walk outside, does she? Oh no, she does.
Yes.
She's the first time out of her room though. Not outside.
Well, she went the day before.
So is this outside then?
Yeah, she went outside before their first scene. Okay.
And then so she gets dressed and she goes and she's like looking at all of her scar tissue and stuff like that. And then I think she goes to the rose garden. Yeah.
And she just spends a lot of time here just walking around and thinking. She's thinking about, again, we're going back to the war. So she's thinking about after Dumbledore died constantly.
Yeah.
She's thinking about when Dumbledore died and again, all of the things that happened that sort of tore her from the order. So there's a lot of incremental things that happened to tear her from everybody else, but they all revolve around the same thing. The fact that everybody else was idealistic and she wasn't. And then
we go through that whole ordeal again.
All again, over again. So we know.
The only thing that I take away from this part, so we could shorten this whole reoccurring event thing, is that she kind of wants to go back and she's starting to realize she doesn't have a whole lot of memories. And she just keeps recalling this gap that she has. There's this blank space that she just can't figure out. And it's right after she goes to her training and she comes back and she's trying to figure out why she can't remember that blank spot. But all she remembers is a low golden light emitting from a lamp, dust, a scent of old paper, dry and green, and the thin chain of a necklace in her hands, nothing else. She pressed harder into the memory, but it just kept fading. So it's like she was trying to grasp onto something. She just couldn't figure out what that was. And then she realized that she was just like, did I have multiple personalities? Because one person says I'm this, one person says I'm that. And is that why I'm disconnecting myself in my mind? Because I am different people. So and Stroud says, no, that's not the reason why you're having these brain fugues or whatever they're called.
Because if we remember to back a couple episodes, we learned that she leveled Sussex and then she stabbed Graham with poisonous knives. And so she's trying to fuse these two people together because as she understands herself now and as she understood herself in the war, though that was not a person that she was. No. So that's what she's missing. She's missing this connection of this middle piece. So that's what she's thinking of.
Yeah, she's just like, how and where is this? Why can't I not think of anything? Why is this completely blank? It's just missing. Like a big chunk of it is missing.
And she also notes that she doesn't believe that she would have gone in and leveled Sussex just to save Ginny. No. She doesn't think that she would have considered those people collateral damage just for saving Ginny.
No. So yeah, while she's walking around outside, because she's doing this all while she's walking outside, she just realizes that it's springtime and everything's full bloom and happy and chirpy. She's like, I can't deal with this. And just fucking walks
Yeah.
away. She's like, nope, I'm not like this. I'm dark and twisted inside. This shit is not working for me. I'll go back inside.
Yeah, she notes again here too that she feels left behind, that the world has moved on without her while she was stuck inside, and she's still dying and dead and black inside, but the world is like flowers and pretty and bright and sunny.
She's like, fuck you, spring. I'm going inside.
Having some anger from her.
Finally.
Going back into my prison. I don't know. I feel like I would love to see that. I mean, I know that she's dying and very upset inside, but like, I would not want to be inside the same room that I'm being essayed in all the time. That would no longer be a sanctuary to me anymore.
No, I wouldn't sleep in that room anymore, but I don't think he warded any other room. So he did that. I mean, that's, I think, why she goes back to that room, because she knows at this point that is the only room that probably is. But I would be like, hey, since you're fucking me in this room, can I have the room with the shower where I sleep?
Please, because she loves to shower. She's not want to. Yeah. She's rarely in the bath anymore.
Yeah,
it's all just showers.
Yeah.
But then I think after that she goes back inside and she waits on the bed. And it's this time that she...
Yeah, yes, so Topsy just appears and says, before dinner, and says, get ready. Because I'm guessing to get readier than earlier. And now that's when she goes into the cabinet and pulls out one of the vials. Mm-hmm. And she just does... I think she looks at it and she's trying to figure out what it is. But she just says, fuck it, and she takes it anyways.
Hermione.
Yeah.
Not the best move.
Because I think there's 5, but she takes only 1.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so she takes it and she says, it comes over her or whatever. And she starts to realize that she's starting to feel this weird sensation. And she realizes, she's like, oh shit. So she gets dreadful immediately because she realizes that it's a lust potion.
Mm-hmm. She's getting that pep in her.
She got it. A fucking lust potion, knowing that
he's on his way. Like, he is on his way.
Topsy said, get ready.
Topsy said he's going to be here in 5 minutes. And she starts losing her shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just took a fucking lust potion.
So she's thinking, how do I neutralize this? And I think at this time, Draco asks her what's wrong. And he asks her, do you want a calming draught or whatever? Mm-hmm. And she nods because she's thinking it's going to neutralize it. Uh-huh. Oh my God, it does not.
No, yeah, it neutralizes her right into it. It calms her right into the effects of the lust potion.
Yes, it's like she just, oh my God, she mellows into it. She's like, the more, because she now, okay, the calming draughts make her calm. So there's no freaking out now. Mm-hmm. But she's like internally freaking out. And as she's like settling into her lust, she's like, oh my God. And so because he asked her, what the fuck's going on with you?
She's freaking the fuck out.
She's got so many mixed emotions, I'm sure, all over her face. And she goes, Stroud gave me a lust potion and I took it, not knowing what it was. And he's just like, are you fucking stupid?
You fucking idiot.
Do you just take anything without paying attention to what it is? Mm-hmm. And she goes, I remember last time I asked what a potion was, you forced it down my throat.
Yep. Was she supposed to think it was going to be different this time? And he sort of gets smacked with that.
Yeah, he's like
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, touche.
But now fuck. Now look at where we are. Now I have
to fuck you when you actually want it. Like, he's like, I'm not into that, remember?
Yeah, and here you are like real into it out of nowhere. This whole scene is wild.
I know.
It's so funny.
And she's like, can you just come back and do it later? He's like, no, I gotta go where's he going this time?
France.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta go to France. I got shit to do. I can't do this later, and I'm not gonna be back until tomorrow night.
Damn, Hermione. You really
and
really screwed yourself over with this.
You're an idiot. Like, Jesus. So she's just like, fine, just do it.
Just do it. Just get it over with. And of course, like, her body is betraying her because the moment he starts,
she's like,
he just like touches her.
And she's like moaning.
And he's like freezing. He's like mortified.
God, this girl, I can't touch her.
The fact that she's like, girl, keep it in. Yeah. Keep that shit in. Oh my God. And she's trying so hard to disassociate, but her body is really into it.
And yes. The touch, the feel, all of it.
And she's saying she wants it. Like, she wants his lips on her. She wants
and she's like, no.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want his lips. I want this. I was just like, oh no. That's a fucking horrible time.
It's a horrible time, but it's so funny to read. Like, this is the comic relief that was really needed in these few scenes. And of course, our poor girl, she gets hers.
Yeah, she does. She's loving it. I mean, if you want a descriptive, you probably should read it.
Yeah, you can go ahead and read it.
It's chapter 22.
She gets it, and he also obviously gets it, but he is upset.
Yes.
I think he leaves.
Well, she has her first orgasm.
Yeah.
That she knows of, that she can remember. And Draco knows that she does. And he like freaks out. And yeah, I think this is when he just
leaves. He leaves.
Because he's got a he was tortured.
Yeah. Tortured look on his face.
He had a tortured groan and he had a tortured look on his face. Oh my God. Them two, man.
So they both did their thing and he was out of there and she had to lay there for 10 minutes thinking about it.
Yeah. Because, he just apparated. He didn't even stay in the room and throw up this time. He was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he looked like he was about to pass out, though. She did note. Man, she really upped the ante on this one.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. Now that there's that feeling there, that want and need, it stays. Like the feeling of her.
Yep.
This potion doesn't last very long. It's over with, I think, shortly after. It's so the next day, even if she's not taking it, those feelings, emotions, and sensations that she had.
And the problem is that she's so lonely. Yeah, so it's not going to take much for those to keep lingering. Like you're saying, those feelings of her wanting that, they're going to linger even harder now because she's so terribly lonely.
Yeah. And she's been saying already kind of figuring out that Draco has some kind of feeling towards her. She's been thinking that. So now on top of that, this happens. She is so confused.
Yeah.
She's one confused person.
Yeah. She's decided that he needs her in some way, like that she's vital to his plans or something. So it may feel a little less romantic in her thinking that like he needs her because of course she doesn't think that he's romantically inclined to her so much. But this was the sort of tipping stone to it.
Yeah.
He quickly shoots that shit down, though.
He does. So at the end of this chapter, though, before we get into that, she's laying there and she's thinking of the fluids of both of them mixed inside her.
I don't need this. I don't need this description.
Yes. So she stops. That's the end of chapter 22. That's where she stops. And that's when we go into chapter 23. And that's when she's talking about, oh, no, she has a dream because she falls asleep.
Yes.
Because she's pretty upset with her body betraying her. She don't care about her mind betraying her, but her body betraying her is a whole other thing. And so,
but it was her mind too that betrayed her because her mind was thinking that
it's all of it.
Wanted it. Yeah. She has been fully
embracing the Draco.
I mean, this was partly against her will because she unknowingly took a potion, but I don't know why she just decided she was going to take some potion in the.
When he knows when she knows he's going to give her a calming draught anyway. So why would you? What do you think? This is a headache medicine?
I know. What Shroud's whole purpose is to get your ass pregnant.
Why would you take any of those potions?
Never would I have.
Yeah, nope. I don't know, but she did. She's where she is now, and she was so upset. She just laid there and fell asleep. Yeah, she didn't even take a shower like she normally does. But yeah, so this is when she has a dream. She has another dream, and she's in the kitchen of Spinner's End, and there's a bunch of potions brewing at the corner, and she said, this is where Snape is. And she said, that's quite a variety of love potions you're brewing. And he says, it's a new project for the Dark Lord. They're suddenly developing an interest to trying to weaponize love potions.
Which is an interesting callback to what we discussed last time when you were saying that Voldemort's mom had used love potions. So it makes sense that he would be trying to weaponize them here for the war.
Yeah, because it kept a hold on his dad for so long. He had a family and married her. So what's to do? Love is a very powerful thing. I mean, that's what Harry's
that's Harry's whole thing.
So if that's the case, I think Hermione asks at this point, what would you weaponize love potions for? And then Snape says, oh, it's so that if he decides he wants to use it on interrogations. Can you imagine Voldemort using it on you and you're like falling madly in love with him?
Ew, especially what he looks like too. Yeah, it's
throne
bad.
of fucking snakes.
Yeah, I like when he's here because she asks him to at some point, like, why are you doing this at home? And he's like, I have to do it here because I don't want anybody to have some great breakthroughs.
Yeah.
He's obviously, I mean, we know that he's working for both the Order and for...
he's doing bare minimum for Voldy, though.
Yeah, so that's the thing. He's doing the bare minimum of this research that he possibly could. He needs to do it at home so that nobody has some great breakthroughs, so that he can just report that it doesn't work. It's not going to work.
Yeah, because there's like a certain amount of varieties of potions that Hermione does know, and there's experimental ones off to the side. So then I think that was really the end of. Oh no, and Hermione says, "Well, what's going to be so great about these love potions? What are you trying to do?" And he says something that you do not have to redose. So like once you take it, that person's like immediately in love with you, and that's it. And so that's really what all. I don't think there's much left of the love potion thing. I think that was really it. I think they talked about it here, but I don't recall it being any more of a thing. And that was really it. That was the end of that dream.
Yeah, because he never wanted it to be anything anyways. He was sabotaging that whole thing. So he was not going to make the one that lasted forever.
No.
And yeah, so she just has this weird vision with him, or it says it was a dream, but
it was a dream.
And we know it's a memory.
Yeah, and she woke up on the bathroom floor because I guess she was on the bathroom floor. How did she make it to the bathroom? I don't know.
Well, I think it was she just woke up. So she fell asleep on the bathroom floor that night.
Okay.
And then woke up after that dream here back on the bathroom floor.
And then
and she's also thinking at this time too, right, about Draco again.
Oh yeah, this is all Draco stuff right now. So while she's just laying on the floor all depressed and stuff, she starts to ponder more about Draco, and she gets up and goes to bed because she's just like, I can't do this today. I'm just gonna go lay in bed. And while she's laying in bed, she just thinks about Draco. And this is like all of Draco stuff. If he wanted to seize power, why didn't he do it? Why didn't he pretty much release who he was, his identity before? And maybe he doesn't want to do that, but if he did, he would have to be feared. And he would have to bank on the idea that Voldemort felt him more important than the idea of killing him for releasing his identity. And he's like, well, because he probably doesn't have anybody else as powerful as Draco, which he doesn't. Draco could kill a mass of people and not bother him. So he doesn't have that powerful commander replacement. So he keeps Draco alive for that reason.
And also she's wondering about his power. Like the fact that his mind and his body are still so pristine and they have no effects of dark magic. And she doesn't understand why, because most wizards who are using dark magic, especially as much as he is, are like addicted to it, and they're constantly using it in their bodies, and they're insane. And like, what the fuck is his name? Lucius.
Yeah. And Bellatrix.
Yeah. So she's thinking about how he's managed to have so much power and it not affect him in any negative way whatsoever. And she's also she's also wondering about the punishment that ended up giving him more power, that was a ritual that he doesn't want to talk about. So she's thinking about all of these things, which is akin to a lot of the things she's constantly thinking about him.
Yeah, and then it goes into, she likes to stem into the part where it's like, oh yeah, he's obviously needs me for something. He views me as important. I wonder why, because he does all these things for me. That's pretty much narrows down her emotional thought process, because she does this on and on and on for pages.
Oh yeah. And she does make one other interesting note here. She's wondering about like why he doesn't take advantage of the fact of getting her pregnant, because once he gets her pregnant, that's 9 months of him being able to have exclusive viewing of her memories without. So like if there's something in his memories if there's something in her memories that he really wants, he should be getting her pregnant so that he could do that, because now he's risking those memories flaking off and then Voldemort having access to them first.
Yeah.
So she doesn't understand why. What is he doing? Why isn't he getting her pregnant? What is his motive? I mean, this has been...
Yeah, she constantly thinks about that. And I would be too. It's like, why does he want me pregnant? But why is he trying to, like, if he doesn't want me pregnant, so why is he going through this? It's like a whole bunch of mind game shit that she's trying to figure out. And you're not going to figure it out, Hermione, because you don't know why yet. So
none of your memories, girl.
Just calm down. You'll figure it out later.
Just calm down.
Okay, so yeah, after she's done pondering about why Draco won't get her pregnant, she like falls asleep and, exhausted because, she's just always mentally draining herself. She likes to do that. Then the next day, she's still really anxious and fidgety. Well, you go to sleep crazy. You go to sleep mentally exhausted. Of course, you're gonna wake up fidgety. But she said she couldn't even read the newspaper. She couldn't do anything. She just pretty much just sat there. And then when evening came, she didn't eat it. When evening came, she didn't eat her dinner. Oh my God. I can't stop. When evening came, she didn't eat her dinner. And then Draco appeared later than usual. I think 9 o'clock at night that time. And
keeping her on her toes.
Yeah. Well, he did tell her that he was going to have to go do a bunch of shit. So he appears and they just stare at each other. I mean, this is the first time they're seeing each other since the lust potion.
Yep.
And so like he doesn't know what to expect because obviously she enjoyed herself.
Yeah.
To a certain degree. And so did he. So it's like, it's a weird sensation for them right now to like be in the same room.
Yes.
And they both just like take the calming drops. I'm guessing they're not even talking to each other.
I know. Just to fucking take this.
They're just like, yeah, let's do this. Like another work day. And she moved onto the bed, and that's when they have their little fucking thing. They do, I guess he performs. I don't think this time oh no, she is enjoying it this time.
Yeah, so I was going to say, just like you had said, that feeling didn't go away. So even though she's not under the lust potion anymore, now she's wanting it still. She wants him to touch her, to kiss her. Like she wants this connection because she's so lonely. That, in my opinion, that's why. Because she was so lonely that potion really just fucked her up.
It just showed her what she could be feeling instead of the anxiousness that she's been feeling. She could be feeling this. And she's like, God damn it, I like that better.
Yeah. Oh, and he is kind of attractive.
Yeah,
he is like...
She is starting to notice those things now because the potion opened a whole door of feelings.
Yep.
And so, yeah, when he crawled up over her and went inside her, she just started to feel all these crazy emotions, and she was feeling betrayed by her body because she was actually leaning into it, enjoying it, liking it, and it was just, oh my God,
she really done fucked herself up.
And she doesn't know. I think she's pondering if Draco is sensing all these emotions, and he doesn't say.
He probably is, though, because he's there in her head. But also she's wondering, too, she's trying to find other reasons for why her brain is slipping like this. And she's trying to think maybe it's the manacles. Maybe they've been working on her to, like, really get her conformed. And it's not.
Yeah. And so the next 2 days were the same experiences. And it goes right into the 5th day. And she says she has no relief on the 5th day because now she's, like, understanding that these 5 days were so different and she can't get past what happened. And so
she's starting to catch feels.
There's no point in denying it anymore, as she's saying. And it's like everything shifted, nothing felt the same, and nothing like this is, it's just so different. She can't get away from it. She can't step away and go back to disassociating herself and act like none of this is happening.
It's getting steamy.
Yeah.
It got steamy. It's getting steamy. She's catching them feels.
She's like, Draco's actually not so bad.
She's not so bad. As far as SAers go, he's the best one on the block.
He's not that big of a monster as I thought he would be. He treats me differently than all the girls.
My master loves me. He bought me boots. He bought me a clothes.
Stockholm syndrome strong. And I like how I think Draco says to her, is it this point? I can't remember, but maybe not yet. I don't think so. I think it's coming up. But yeah, she's like really, really into him now.
Yeah, she's trying her damnedest to not, but that potion really had an effect.
Yeah, she keeps on trying to blame the manacles. Oh, the manacles really cultivate this. It's like, no, because you would have felt like this in the beginning. Way sooner. This is 6 months into it. You didn't feel like this until the potion. That potion like relaxed you to feel. And now you have nothing but to feel it.
He really gave her that pep.
Yeah, there's that pep. That's what it should be, is a pep potion.
A pep potion. Yeah, he's got her hooked. And so, oh my God, this is like one of my favorite parts of this entire book. But she's wandering the manor at night because he has not come home yet. And she's wandering.
This is chapter 23.
This is an infamous chapter in my life.
I forgot this is chapter 23. Yes.
She's wandering around.
Oh my God.
This manor at night. And she's thinking about him. I even think she's like panicking a little bit because
he's not back as
she's
early.
Worrying about what would happen if he died.
Yeah.
If he died, she wouldn't know what's going to happen to her. And her mind's just starts spiraling that way. What if she was pregnant and he died? Like, what's going to happen?
Is he dead right now?
Is he dead right now?
He could be dead right now. Like, she is spazzing the fuck out.
Yep.
She's like all in the feels now. Like, my master could be dead. I don't want my master dead. I don't
know. What would I do without him?
And now, what if I am pregnant? What are they going to do to me? Oh my God. No, you know what though? She has a bit of safety with him around.
She does.
I do have to say, like, if I were in her position, like, And I was stuck there after my anger subsides, because after a while, I mean, at this point, if he's buying you boots and he's taking care of you, like, I mean, like, okay, you know, but at this point, she is gone. She's gone to the point where she knows that he killed somebody for her.
Well, he's done nothing but protect her.
Yeah, so it's like at this point in this stage, who else is there going to take care of her? She didn't even get well treated like this
in the order.
Friends.
Yeah.
So it's like, this dude has been doing so much for her. Why would she want him to go away? Now it's like, oh, crap.
And it would be detrimental to her if he did go away.
Yeah, especially if she was pregnant with his kid.
Yep. So she's feeling all those feels.
Yeah, because she would be a danger because she's holding his heir.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like Astoria wouldn't want that.
Nope. And she starts panicking about that too. Astoria's gonna kill the baby if Draco's not here.
Yeah.
If the baby pops out looking like Hermione and Draco, she's gonna pop its eyes out and burn it and things like that. She's thinking all of these things.
Yep. And so it's like freaking her out, and she's wandering around the hallways, and the portrait's following her around this time, and she's just worrying the whole time. And I want you to say it. I want you to say this part, because I love that this part for you is the infamous chapter.
It is my infamous chapter, and I'll explain why when we get to the end of this chapter. But okay, so she's walking down these halls, she's panicking, and then out of the darkness steps the angel of death. He just steps out, and like she's talking about the moonlight, like gets his hair and his eyes and stuff, and he comes up to her. He starts like doing the sexy like saunter up to her, and he says, "Oh, Granger." He raised his hand and he placed it across her throat. It's like, sorry, I'll back up a little bit. He's like walking towards her, and she's backing up, and she backs up into the wall, and so he walks up to her and he says that, "Oh, Granger." He raised his hand, he placed it on her throat, but he didn't squeeze. Heat of it seeped into her skin, and he slid his thumb lightly along her neck. He sighed again. "If I'd known what a pain you'd cause me, I never would have taken you. But at this point, I suppose I deserve to burn. I wonder if you'll burn too." His face was suddenly close to hers. His lips crashed into hers. Okay.
He's drunk too.
Oh yeah, she noticed that he's drunk.
Yeah.
So this scene, literally, that's the ending of it. That's the ending of this fucking chapter.
Yeah.
And it's infamous to me because I was reading this in my Kindle in the car. And through this whole chapter, I was trying to finish this chapter because obviously it was getting good. And I'm sitting in the car, and my boyfriend he's like, "I'll be right back. I'm gonna run to the car." I'm like, "Great, I'll finish this." I'm literally sitting in the car reading this. He's in the back of the car. We're not moving because this is where I'm at. And I finished this sentence, and he's like, "Come on, can we just go?" So I had to leave. I had to stop because this was the end of the chapter. I had to stop right here and go to fucking Target. I'm like texting her, freaking out. Like I am like walking like a zombie through Target. Like, how do I live? How do I go on with my life? He just kissed her.
He just kissed her passionately. Like there was no mask, there was no Draco coldness. No. He said to her, she is pretty much his undoing.
Yeah, if I would have known.
Yeah, and she's just like, "What? I did nothing." Like, and he like kisses her passionately. There is something weird about this. And it's like, what? And he's calling her Granger.
Yes, which that's not what he calls her.
Yeah, so it's like this.
Mudblood is normally.
And he says, "Oh, Granger." Like he's just like, oh, like you're my undoing.
Granger.
Yeah.
Like, how will I live like this? I'm dying because of you, essentially. Yeah. What he's saying.
And it's like, what? To me, he's preaching his love to her.
He's got his hand on her throat, gently caressing it. Like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Numbers, like,
yeah,
dude, he is done for her. And like, so it's like, you're reading this, he like passionately kisses her, and then that's the end of the chapter, and you're like, let's go to Target.
I have to go to Target.
I can't go to fucking Target.
I was so upset the entire time.
Is my fucking Draco in the
Target? I know. Like, wait, he just kissed her. Like, I can't.
Do you not know? Chapter 23, he kisses her. I can't leave now.
Oh my God.
I can't leave now.
It was like an hour between the end of this chapter till finally being able to read it. Like, I can't. Walking around just dazed. I was dazed. I don't even remember the trip. I don't know what we got. I don't know what we put. Just like, get me out of here.
And it's funny because like I was like a few chapters behind. And so when you told me like, "Oh my God, chapter 23, when you get to the end of it, imagine going to Target."
Just fucking stop. Just stop what you're just stop reading.
So I get to chapter 23, I read this, and I was just like, How do you do anything after this?
No.
You have to read at least the next few paragraphs.
Yeah. Nope. No.
You can't. So, okay, let's just stop here.
Yeah, let's just we'll see you next week, guys. So he kissed her and we'll be back. Oh, man. You know what? You can't even read the next couple paragraphs because they're great. You have to read you would have to finish the chapter, honestly, because after his lips crashed into hers, then it gets real passionate.
Well, the next line is pretty good. Right after that, he tasted of fire whiskey. It was a punishing kiss. A punishing kiss. So like passionate, punishing to me could be the same.
Yep, there was some passion happening in this kiss.
Oh man.
And like she freezes, obviously.
Yeah.
But then like hands start roving. He's like busting her shirt open.
Yeah, feeling up on her. I think he pushes up against the wall.
Yeah, she's up against
her.
Yeah, his whole body is up against her.
This
grinding.
is like
her entire top is exposed because he like rips the
buttons off.
But
she's not panicked like she is what she was with Graham. She's not. She's just like shocked that this is happening, but she wants it.
She wants it.
She says she does.
Yes.
So it's like she's in just a state of shock, and then
she moans.
Yeah, because like she gets into it, and then he freezes up, and he's like, "Oh my god! Apparently, you have accepted your place," and then he just leaves.
It's so funny though because he was real into it, and then she moaned, and he like snapped him out of it. He was like,
"You can't you're enjoying it now. That's different." Wait a second.
Wait, what's going on here? I think even she did this. She moaned too while they were doing it the second time when she didn't have it, and he had the same reaction of like literally snapped him out of it, and he was like,
"Yeah, so
don't moan, please don't enjoy this."
I think the thing is with him, it's like he has these very small bouts of like breakdowns of who he is and like what he's doing, and he doesn't care, and then he does it, especially because now it's him drunk. So he's doing what he feels instead of what he should be doing or what to do to mask. And so once he realizes, oh shit, like I can't be doing this.
Yeah, it snapped him out of it. Like, God damn it, Hermione.
So it's
keep
like
your fucking mouth shut, please. I would have liked to see where this was gonna go.
Like, can you just pretend? Like, act frozen for a second. But the thing is, it's like even that little bit of tidbit of him trying to pretend that, like, because he can't pretend for so long. Like, eventually this stuff is starting to seep through. You're starting to see that Draco does have feelings for her. So he can pretend all he wants, but it's like at this point, it's like, what is going on? She has a big chunk of memory loss. She obviously went into the dark realm of dark magic. So like, what's going on? What's going on? I don't know about you, but at this point, I was already assuming there was more. I mean, he was an avid healer. She's a healer. I don't know. I don't know if you put two and two together.
Yeah,
but I was
at this point had not. I was thinking that this was them just because it feels like, you know, you're forced to screw each other every goddamn month. Like, of course, feelings are bound to possibly be developing here. So for me, that's just what it was. Obviously, there were things about her memory and things like that. But no, at this point, I had not put two and two together. I was like, oh, they're just...
I didn't know how deep that them two may have known each other. Obviously, they knew each other in Hogwarts. But I felt like there was something that just didn't make sense, and I could have put two and two together completely, but I was just like, they had to have known each other during the war. I felt like that. It was mostly because of the healing thing. I thought maybe somewhere along the line she was with Draco in battle or something.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say what ends up happening, but I want to just tell you what my thought process was around this time. And I thought maybe Hermione and Draco met at St. Mungo's hospital or something. Because, you know, that's where she was training the Death Eaters. I thought maybe that was the pinpoint where maybe them two kind of got mixed together.
That makes sense.
But I don't know to what degree. But I felt like maybe she was doing something with him.
At some point.
Yeah, at some point. They had to have, because... That's what I think.
You know, sometimes I'm so far along for the ride that I'm just not even thinking about things. Like, there are certain things that, like, you've caught in my other friend who's reading it that I did not catch. Because I was just so into I was just on the ride. I was not thinking about, did they do this? No, I'm like, I'm here. I'm here. Please, can we?
Through it. Yeah.
I'm just here. I'm like a fly on the wall, just watching this go on. I don't want to think too much about it.
And you know what? That's great because even just doing that alone is just so intriguing. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't even have to do the thought process of, oh, how do they know each other? Do they know each other?
It's like sometimes it happens. Like, right? It's like sometimes you're like connecting dots while you're reading, but like sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm like, no, just please, I need more of whatever this is happening right now.
Give me more of this Draco.
It's those romantic things that were catching me, the non-romantic, romantic things that I was taking away from this, that I was like here for it. Like, I don't care. I'm consuming this morning, noon, and night was all I was doing. There was no time to think about where the story was going. I'm like, I don't care. I'm just here. Please give me more of this. But what happens after this is so sad.
It is very sad.
So they have this really passionate moment, which she ruins by enjoying it.
And then he cuts it off and almost like makes her feel like shit for enjoying it.
Yeah, like, oh, okay,
you
looks like
your place.
Looks like you found your place. Looks like you're enjoying it now.
That's so sad to me. Like, why did you
an asshole? Yeah. Both of them. I mean, it's not even her fault. But if she could have just stayed quiet a little bit longer.
She was upset about that. Like, I would be too. Like, finally, he's showing emotion.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like I feel validated in the feelings that he's been showing me. And this is the first time he drops it. It's like, oh yeah, motherfucker. See, you do have feelings for me. And then he's like, oh no, you found your place. It's like, no, bitch, I think you figured out your place.
Oh, it was your lips on me.
Yeah,
you came to me
talking to me how I'm your undoing. Okay. I didn't say
and
that.
Now you're like, oh, you found your place.
Like
come on,
motherfucker, who you did that. Okay. Should I remind you? So anyways, yeah, he says that, he leaves and she's devastated. She's just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, he makes me feel something and then he doesn't want to acknowledge it.
Yeah. And not even not acknowledging, but like, you're being an asshole about it. Like,
yeah. And she's realizing that it's not the Manacles who's making her feel this way towards Draco. It's herself.
Which is, of course, giving her a whole shit of emotions because he is, as far as she can remember, the enemy. Murdered her friends, continues to murder her friends, those that are left and all of that. So now she's having these really strong conflicted emotions of, why is her mind betraying her? This is, I think, when she feels it the most, that her mind has betrayed her, because now she's like thinking that, yeah, she does have feelings for him. She does want him regardless of what the situation is. And then so she goes back to her room and she's like staring out the window, and then she just starts slamming her head against the window.
Yeah, hard.
For brutal. Yes. Until she's bleeding. Like she's gushing blood down her
and
face.
She's still doing it as she's bleeding. She's like, bam, bam. And like, that's so sad and depressing. And like, 'cause she's able to finally beat the Manacles at you know, the fact that they're telling her not to harm herself. She's able to harm herself. And so Draco appears and commands her to stop harming herself, and she's not going to harm herself.
He wraps his hand around her waist and
grabs
pulls her in and tells her to stop, even though he just denied her. But now he's over here again being fucking sweet. But then tells her to stop, and then he even points out, like, it looks like you figured out a way around the Manacles.
Yeah, and she goes pretty much, I realized. I suppose I did. I suppose I did.
It was the fact that she wasn't seeing it as harming herself, and so, or she was seeing it. She was being emotionally harmed, and she only took the command to be physical, but for her banging her head against it was more of a mental
and harm. She was able to nullify because it didn't specify emotional or physical harm, and because she was only experiencing emotional harm and thinking about that, she's like, well, I'm already harming myself emotionally, I couldn't harm myself physically, and so it nullified the two. So she was able to harm herself both emotionally and physically because she was nullifying it. Yeah, which is crazy, but
it is crazy. And she kind of already knew about that, though, because she was already trying to go against it, but she was never successful. But this is the first time, because her mind wasn't thinking about it, and she was sort of just acting that she was able to do it. So
yeah, and she was pretty much thinking to herself, like, if I were to, as the only reason why, like, I think she said it in a couple chapters, if I was to speak softly, but if I was told I couldn't speak, but only, no, how did she say it? Something along the lines of, well, I can't.
During this part too, she is talking about that, where she feels, she thought that she couldn't speak without being spoken to by Malfoy, because the rule was to not be loud. So she internalized that. But if she would have internalized it as speaking quietly, then she could have talked to him. But because she internalized it as she cannot speak without being spoken to, that's why she couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So that's
it's their own interpretation of what the compulsions are supposed to mean. And that's what decides. And she already knew it was her own limitations, but she didn't recognize what she was doing to limit herself. And now she knows. And at this time, Draco is pretty much like asking her, what is wrong with you? What's going on with you? And she goes, I think I have Stockholm syndrome. And he's just like, whatever the fuck is that? He's like, if you don't want to tell me, I'll just read your mind. And she goes, no, it's a muggle thing. It's when the captor falls in love. The captive falls in love with the captor. And I want to say at this point, she explains that she's having feelings for him. And, this is such a fucking mean thing to say.
He's such an asshole.
Well, she says this first. I'd honestly rather be raped by your father than have feelings for you.
Oh, yeah, she does say
and
that.
Then he goes, with any luck, you're pregnant now, and you won't need to suffer the attention of either of us. You'll be just left alone. They're both assholes to each other.
They are both assholes.
I mean, granted, I know why Hermione's an asshole, because she's just doesn't understand yet. But Draco says some mean fucking things without needing to have to say it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I don't want to talk about that yet because that'll give a lot away. But like, dude, you're saying some shit that's just fucking off the wall.
Oh, he's not done.
No.
He's not done because he says more shit right here too.
He does.
That just slices to the heart. Essentially, he calls her out and basically says that you're a healer and that that's all you were good for and nobody appreciated you in the order. You know that, I know that. And so you're so starved from affection that you would literally take it from anybody.
Yeah.
And how it's so stupid that you would confuse the fact that I have to take care of you for any sort of affection. I don't want you. I never will want you. Yeah. You're gross and you're desperate is essentially what he's saying to her.
Nothing will bring me more joy than to just be done with you. And this comes after the fact because he was about to leave. Because she said that. He said what he said. And he was about to leave. And she grabs him by the robes and is sobbing into his chest. And that's when he says that.
Oh, God. He just really just fucking sticks it.
She's crying at his chest. And he says that to her.
Confessing her feelings for him.
Yeah. Saying, I have feelings for you. This is what's happening. I don't know if it's Stockholm syndrome. But like, and then he's just like, you pretty much tore yourself out to anybody who gives you a little bit of attention.
You would whore yourself out. You're desperate. You just want anything. You want any shrivel of love. And you're so desperate that you would take me just basically caring for you, doing the bare minimum as I have feelings for you. I don't.
And she goes, well, then why did you kiss me? Yeah. And you can't just blame the potion because that was a while ago. And he goes, what can I say? Rape isn't my thing. However, your growing attachment is both fascinating and causing to experience it is fascinating. I never imagined you'd be the sort to fantasize that my mandatory care for you indicates some sort of attachment.
Yeah, which doesn't answer the question of why did you kiss her?
No, you kissed her because you wanted it. You even said, man. Oh, like, come on, you two are so fucked in the head. I mean, obviously.
She's excused from this, though, for sure. He is fucked in it. Like, what are you doing?
He's being a complete dick. She's finally saying, like, hey, I know I'm going through all this shit, but I'm starting to have feelings for you. And, like, and obviously, I think you do, too. Because what just fucking happened.
Kissed me. You ripped my blouse open like you were ready.
Yeah, and then, like, when I finally tell it to you, you're treating me like shit, and so now I'm upset, and I'm emotionally distraught. I'm going to bash my head up against the window, and you're telling me, no, don't do that. Like, dude, that's just, this whole fucking thing is crazy. And so, I want to say what did he do after that?
He leaves.
Did he just leave?
Yeah, he leaves.
She, like, I think he, like, cleans up her forehead or whatever after that. And then just, like, lets her be.
Yeah, well, I think he cleans it up a little bit before. And then he says this mic drop moment and then he takes off. Just leaves her here with this disgusting feeling of, like, that she's gross and that she whored herself out.
Oh, yeah. He also goes on to say that, isn't the Dark Lord, because the Dark Lord's going to, like, look into your mind in the next few days or a week from now. And he's going to be so thrilled about Potter's Mudlove falling in love with her rapist. Oh, dude, like, that's fucked up. Like, Draco, you know, I like you a lot, but, like, you done fuck up by saying this shit. Like, that's some fucked up shit.
Stick that knife in real good. He aimed right for the heart.
He did.
And it was painful, especially, I mean, to her it was painful, but also as the reader, because what just happened in the hall. And then now I'm hearing this and it's just like, I feel ashamed. Like I felt,
because like
I felt gross and ashamed.
Yeah, I have feelings for him too during this, and it's like I can imagine if he was telling me this shit, I'd be like, this motherfucker,
heartbroken, and just also feeling just gross because you're trying to battle whether or not you actually have Stockholm syndrome, which means that you don't really like him, but you do really like him. But then this potion situation happened, and now you're having meaningful essay sessions. Like it's all so fucked.
And you passionately kiss me, and now you want to act like that didn't exist. Like, dude,
you told me I was your undoing.
I would give him so much shit though. If he would have passionately kissed me and I moaned like that, and then he fucking stopped, I'd be like, dude, why you acting like that just didn't fucking happen?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can't play this off like I'm in my place. It's like, obviously you like it too.
Yeah, you were here.
I would be pointing shit out
all day. All day, just be saying shit in my head.
Yeah, you would be like
repeating what he said over and over in my head.
Like, I don't even have to say anything. I'll just let you read my mind. Go ahead. The next mind reading session is all about you fucking thinking over me. Like you coming over me, thinking about me. You're just gonna be reliving all those memories.
Yep, over and over.
He's not gonna want to mind read me anymore.
That's so funny.
He wouldn't even know what to say to me anyway. He's like, I'm done reading your mind because you're just so disgusting.
It's the same shit every time.
Well, maybe you should have kissed me.
Yep.
That was a good time. And that's all I think about. And that's all
I really liked it.
Okay. That's all I think about.
Day and night I'm thinking about it. Your mean words did nothing to quell the fire. Quench. That's not the right word. Quench. Thank you. Quench the flames. Yeah, it did nothing.
That's all I think about now. Day and night, I'm going to bed happy.
Just dreaming about you kissing me in the hall. Even though you're an asshole afterwards, which I really just don't understand. But
yeah, no, I would be a complete asshole to him too, though. But whatever.
It's the true enemies to lovers.
It really is.
So he says those awful, awful things.
Yeah.
And then that's the end. He leaves.
Yeah.
And then I think she just goes to sleep. And then we wake up the next day and Shroud is here.
Oh, those checkups. This is the checkup of all checkups.
This is the checkup to end all checkups.
Because, so I like this part though. Because Hermione's got a bone to pick with her. Because of those goddamn potions. Like this starts with Shroud. It starts and ends with Shroud right here. So Shroud asks her, hey, how did contraception go this month? Or conception go this month? And she goes, I don't know. Isn't that why you're here?
Yeah.
Like, bitch, you know what you fucking did.
Yeah, fuck you.
I wouldn't even pretend to play with her. I would just be like, you know those 5 fucking potions you gave me?
Yep.
Well.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got some turmoil now. Like, there's turmoil.
Yeah. You ruined the piece that we had assembled, and now I've got feels because of your fucking potion.
And Shroud is like, well, it worked. You're pregnant.
Dun, dun, dun. And of course, Hermione just descends into panic.
Yeah, she starts going hard. So much to the point where anything Shroud is saying, it's like blah, 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 blah. She ain't hearing shit Shroud is saying.
Nope. Panic. Pure panic mode.
And it causes Shroud to understand and realize that, oh shit, Hermione is going into pure panic mode. And so that's when Draco appears.
Mr. doesn't give a shit.
Mr. doesn't give a shit, giving a shit hard.
Oh, he gave it to Shroud.
Yeah, because he's ripping a new one at Shroud. He's pissed. He's like, don't you fucking know she's prone to panic attacks? And you're just giving her this crazy information all of a sudden? Like, you can't just throw it at her. Like, you can't do that. She's like, oh, I thought it was just open spaces. And Draco's like, well, maybe you should try thinking more.
Yeah, he really went. And then she's not allowed to have meetings with Hermione by himself anymore. He's going to be there like, oh, okay.
And you're going to give me all the instruction for her.
Okay, Draco. I'm calling your bluff here, bud. Like, why are you so overprotective out of nowhere?
Yeah.
If you were just an asshole the day before. He said he didn't care. Don't interpret this as me caring. That's all he's been saying this entire time. And then here he is again.
Caring a lot.
Caring way more than you should be, but that's all he's been doing.
Yeah. It's insane to me too, because like he is telling her now that she can't be any part. It's like he's taking people away from her now that she's pregnant. Immediately finding out she's pregnant. He's just like, oh yeah, you can't be there. You can't do this. You can't do this. It's like he's super controlling after. It's like, okay. You gave it 5 fucking seconds and you're already being extremely overprotective and controlling. Yep. How do you not care again?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, did you say you didn't care and you never care and you're not my friend? Like, I don't. It's not computer.
Because like there's no requirement for him. Because he always said with the story there was no requirement for me to care. There was no requirement, and there's no requirement for her to care right now.
Yeah, we know what Draco not caring looks like. You just look at Astoria.
Yeah.
He certainly isn't barging in to protect her from a doctor. Like, come on. Come on, Draco. Yeah. I saw you falling apart when her eye was half out of her socket.
Oh my God, yeah.
Mr. ripping Montague's intestines out. Like, you're not convincing me that you don't care about her.
Yeah, so he starts yelling at Stroud saying, well, he's already been yelling at her, but he's been telling her now, like, I think you're doing this shit on purpose. And she's just like, no, I'm not. And he goes, well, I suspect that you are, because every time you come around, you're doing stupid shit to traumatize her. Like, you threatened her with my dad. You gave her an aphrodisiac without warning. And he's like, are you causing her to have a mental breakdown? Because you do know what we're trying to accomplish here. And she goes, no, I'm not trying to compromise anything. I'm really anxious over her recovery. I'm just wondering how somebody who didn't graduate from Hogwarts with no training and was able to kill all of her colleagues. So dun dun dun, her true color show. Yeah. She is admitting that she's pretty fucking pissed that Hermione was able. Yeah. And Draco was telling her, you could have just asked me instead of mentally torturing her. You could have just fucking asked me. And I love what he says. He's like, by the way, your colleagues, you weren't a part of that because your fucking little research doesn't even tip the par with any of their shit. Yep. Like, your shit isn't looked at as educational or credential or verifiable. Your stuff is not even. So you never would have had a place at the Sussex Research Lab because your research is shit. It's shit. Yeah. It's invaluable. Nobody cares about it. Yeah. And so he told her that, and I think that at that point he was like telling her she was no longer permitted to pretty much do anything, and he told Topsy to get her the fuck out of here. Sounds an awful lot like caring to me. I don't know. Like he was real mad up there. Yeah, he didn't have to go that far, and he did. So it's like this. I was like, Hermione's probably like, he loves me. He loves me. Look at how he's coming and protecting me. Yeah, I don't know. Like, but at that point, Draco's just like, I don't trust you, conscious. You know, now that you're pregnant, and having a panic attack. Yeah, he like forces her to have like a sleepless dream drought, pretty much to just because he's got shit to do. You can't expect him to just be home. But yeah, so she's just like, I think something along the lines of, well, this. She's already concerned about the pregnancy. She's just like, is this going to affect the baby? He's like, don't worry, I already researched it. I was already in on the know. I know it. I researched it. It's fine. And so she took it. And she falls asleep. And as she's falling asleep, he says, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Granger. I'm sorry, Granger. Why would you be sorry if you don't care? Like, I don't understand. Chapter 24. End of chapter 24. He's apologizing to her. This is like fast moving now in his feelings for her. Immediately, as soon as he finds out she's pregnant, like there's a twist in like how he's reacting towards her. Trying hard to push her away. I wonder why. Because like obviously you have feelings for her. So obviously the shit that you just said a day ago was for a specific purpose. Like you're trying to push her away. You're trying not to get wrapped up in whatever feelings you actually got for her. But now she's pregnant, and now that's becoming his undoing again. Yeah. And like now, like to make this chapter, because the chapter 25 is a lot of the same thing. So like to pretty much sum up this chapter, Hermione wakes up from just finding out that she's pregnant, and Draco is pretty much like looming over her all of the time. But this time he's like talking to the portrait, and I guess she makes a noise, and Draco like turns around and like starts. Because Hermione's up. Yeah, starts to saunter over to her, and pretty much. I think he commanded her that she's not allowed to hurt herself or cause any harm to the baby or cause any way to have a miscarriage or an abortion. Yep. And that Topsy will be monitoring her full time. And then I think Draco just left. And she just cried and cried. But like, because he has to leave for a couple days. Yeah. He's gone for like a week or something. Yeah. He comes back to her 4 days. But at this time, 4 days. He's like constant, like before the 4 or after the 4 days, he's just constantly like watching her. But he gives her a book, and then like after that 4 days later he gives her a book, and she's just like, I can't touch this. And he's like, don't worry, this isn't part of my library. I got this specifically for you. It's not going to burn you.
Specifically for you. And he picked out a book that she recognized is the one that she would have wanted. So it's like a specific, because it's a medical textbook about pregnancy, not like a what to expect when you're expecting. It's a medical book. And she thinks to herself like, oh, he picked the one I would have wanted.
Yeah. How sweet.
How sweet.
Yeah. How sweet.
But then he leaves her though for like 3 weeks.
He leaves her for a good amount of time, but I want to say he still comes into the room though. Even though he leaves, he's still coming into the room because it says next day he left. Hermione left and went over to the window and started to read the book, and then Draco came into the room that day. And he asked her when the last time she was outside, because they go outside together. So I think he takes her out to the hedge maze.
So essentially for like the first couple weeks of her pregnancy, he's in and out. Like he's not consistently there. But when he comes back after that 3 weeks, then he's more of like a stable presence consistently in the room with her. And then he does ask her when to go out, knowing that the last time she was outside was at the equinox.
And so like when they walking around, she makes him promise not to hurt the baby.
Yes.
She's like, please don't hurt the baby. And he's just like, no one is going to hurt your baby.
Nobody's going to take your baby. Yeah. He even says to her.
Yeah, he's like, Astoria will never touch it. So like he makes that promise. And it's like, this is when the cold-hearted assholeness of Draco starts to just subside. He's not saying unnecessary, hateful things anymore. It's really, he's there for her care of her pregnancy.
Yes, because she's having a hard pregnancy.
Yes.
She can't eat. She can't really stand up. Like she's having headaches constantly. And so Shroud has come in now for a checkup on her and she essentially says, you know, I can't eat, I can't do anything. So they prescribe her a bunch of potions. I think he even brought a ton of other like midwives and other doctors during this time too, because again, she's like becoming frail.
Well, Shroud even says, if you don't trust me, because she's having mental issues or where she's having lots of headaches, and Shroud tells him this is unusual, this is not. But you don't want to take any magical potions or anything because it could affect the baby. So do some muggle stuff where you just take painkillers. And he's looking at her like, what? She's like, well, if you don't believe me, bring in some midwives and stuff like that. And so that's when he does. But she tells him it's important that if he does any mind reading, because this is the time where that's probably why she's having these headaches, is they're starting to break down. The mental blocks are starting to break down. And he says, no, I don't want to do any mind reading because she had seizures. So that's where we're at with the whole.
Also during this time, he has another little spat at Shroud, which I love because he's pretending not to care, but like Shroud summons like a bed for her, the exam table or whatever. And she is like dying on the bed, and he yells at her like, you can't walk 5 feet to the bed.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to make her get up and go over there. No, fucking walk over there and take care of her.
Yeah, like, why?
Because Shroud doesn't care. Like, Shroud is spiteful to her. So
but I don't understand why Draco never said that to her before. But you know why now, because she's pregnant. And just to let you have a little reminder, her being pregnant means only Draco could read her memories.
Yes.
So in my mind, it's like, that's important because nobody else will know what's really happening behind closed doors anymore. Yep. Only Draco. So Draco could be however he wants at this point. And it's funny to me how he turns to be a little bit more considerate and caring instead of rude and cold-hearted.
And he's also, to further your point, he's also in there like holding her hand.
Yes.
While she's sleeping on the bed. Like, because she's in and out of sleeping because her head hurts and her body hurts so much. And she's just vomiting too all over the place. So she's sleeping constantly in and out of consciousness. He's in the room, like brushing her hair out of her face, holding her hand. And she even notes, though to herself, because she's so mad at him, like, I'm pretending it's somebody else comforting me. But the fact that it's still Draco's.
And she's not moving away from it. She's actually taking it in and allowing it. And he's like, giving her like little vibration sensations over her joints and her like parts of her body, because it is so hard on her. So he's doing magical things to help her as well as touching her and massaging her. And
she tells him, I'm not going to die from the pregnancy. And he says, my mom almost did. And so you get this sense of like, that's why
he's worried.
He's worried.
He's legit worried that she's going to die during the pregnancy, which is funny because that's what Voldemort ordered him to do, is to kill her right after the pregnancy.
So
And she knows that.
on?
And that's why she's scared and she doesn't want no one to touch. That's why she pleads with him. And so he's just trying to do anything he can to make it comfortable and be considerate of her. It's crazy to me how, like, just like
overnight,
he was saying that he didn't give a shit about her.
Literally yesterday.
Yeah, finds out she's pregnant, and now all of a sudden things are changing. That immediately he's like extremely overprotective of her.
Yep, and sweet with her. And so I think after those first couple weeks, they said specifically at the end of the month approached, her headaches were getting worse and she was becoming thinner. The manacles were able to slide up her forearms and down because she's not eating.
And Draco was like fidgeting with them.
Yeah. And he's like, she catches him sometimes like looking at her stomach and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to give her potions to consume to give her some sort of nutrients. But then she notes that essentially he's not really talking to her anymore, but he's still like...
He's just looming over her.
He's looming over her. He's still like doing things. But he's just really not talking to her.
He's seeing her more now than he did when he was essaying her, which is good because like maybe she doesn't need to see him when that's happening. But like he's seeing her and actually tending to her needs. He doesn't need to do that.
No.
He can have the fucking elves do it.
Yeah.
Nope. He's actually doing it.
Yep.
And
yes, he is.
Topsy is coming over and asking if she needs anything and helping her out. But I think Hermione's actually starting to... I think she wanted to get up. Oh, she starts to panic. 9 weeks into the pregnancy, she just starts to panic. And she's like, I got to do something. There's something I got to do.
Yeah, she was sleeping. Yeah. She wakes up freaking out about needing to do something.
And and then Topsy was like, do you want me to do anything for you? Is there something I can do for you? And she's just like, no, I don't need anything. And then as she's about to pass out, Draco appears. And what did she say? She said, I can't remember. She doesn't know what's going on, but she has to feel like she has to hold on. She has to hold on.
Yeah. She can't forget. She has to hold on to it.
Yeah.
And she forced herself up to start walking. Yeah. She starts walking.
And her visions are like going all over the place. So this next part of the chapter, like the last few pages of the chapter, is just her recalling people and certain things being said to her, people she's encountered during the past few years before her memory or during her memory loss. And it's just, she's going in and out of visions. And one of the visions that she is seeing is Draco like lunging at her and attacking her.
With a knife. Yep.
And then people around her dying by not being able to breathe. Yep. And then
she has one of Moody telling her that an opportunity has come up, one that will change the tide of the war. And then he sort of fades away and fades into another one. And Draco's holding her by the throat and slamming her into the ground.
Yeah, and then she's being kissed.
Yeah, she's being kissed
up against the wall. And then people are asking, I think it's Tonks is asking her, how many people did she kill? 10, 15? Do you even know? Which is pretty crazy. It's like, because the last thing we only know that she killed was the people everybody else was already dead.
Yep.
So people know that she's been killing people, which is weird. And then somebody tells her that she's no sinner, she doesn't deserve this fate. And
McGonagall says that.
Yeah, and I want the one actual like line I really really like is I think the one Draco says to her. She's having a vision of Draco saying this to her, and it's, I have warned you, if something happens to you, I will personally raise the entire order. That isn't a threat, it's a promise. Consider your survival as much a necessity to the survival of the resistance as Potters. If you die, I will kill every last one of them. That is the end of that chapter.
Yep.
With that sentence, that quote by Draco to Hermione.
Yep.
So there is memories of Draco and Hermione.
Yep.
Before she went to prison, and it's of him giving a shit.
Yeah. Oh, he's giving big shits.
He cares. He will kill everybody.
Everybody in the order.
Talk about fucking... Yeah.
And I think even she sees another one too where he's like, you're mine, you swore myself. He growled into her ear. Yes. So like, we know there's something's
passion
going on.
Yeah. Oh my God. So yeah.
And then it just fades to black.
Fades out. She's passing the fuck out with all these memories.
Flooding her vision. Sees a great speech. Mwah. That was beautiful. I don't know what it's about, but that was beautiful.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That quote, that speech, that thing he said to her was like the best ending of of a chapter.
Yeah, that's the one to pass out to for sure.
Yeah. If I was to pass out, that would be that. The crazy thing is too, is like that the crazy thing is that this is the end of before her flashback. So just so you know, the next few chapters or
it's a lot.
Whole book, I would say.
Yeah.
Is all about her flashbacks, which that is where it gets fucking intense.
That's the best part, one would argue.
I love the flashbacks. The flashbacks are my favorite part of Manacled.
Yep.
Up until, of course, the last part of the book. But the flashbacks are where it's at.
Yeah.
It's where it's at.
So we've officially, done the first half of the book, which is a small half. I mean, if you look in comparison to there must be like 50 flashback chapters. And it's funny because we enter into these chapters and I'll tell you what, I did not care. I was wanting to go. So I'm like, get me back to the present. Like, I want to know what's going on between these two. I was like flying through these and then they start getting good. And you're like, wait, this is the good stuff. Not where I just was.
Yeah.
This is the stuff.
Yeah. So her flashbacks, I'm assuming, are only when she's passed the fuck out. So you have to remind yourself that this whole book, she's passed out and re-experiencing these flashbacks. So yeah, we will go over the next 5 of those flashbacks in our next episode, but it's pretty intense.
It gets better.
It does.
Just when you thought the last episodes were good, it just keeps getting better.
It does. I love it. I'm so excited to speak about it with all you guys.
Yeah, me too. Well, that concludes the end of this, obviously. So get ready to really dive into the meat of Manacled with us next week. Because this is where it really gets good.
Yeah. So don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Amazon Music, and also on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, and I think we're on Facebook too.
Yeah, we are.
We just got
a budding Facebook.
Yep. So follow us on all the socials if you want to keep up with us. And we can't wait to see you here next week. We'll see you then. Bye.